Destroyer of All Dreams is the latest EP from Sadistic Vision. This is a Toledo, Ohio, or no, this is just a Pennsylvania-based band who originally started in New Orleans. And so they didn't get around to their first full length until 2020, and it was okay. It felt like it was very influenced by groove metal, and that's just not really my thing. Like, I definitely grew up in the era of groove metal, but there was just more interesting stuff going around in the underground in the periphery. So it's not that they wrote a Pantera record or whatever. It's just that it felt like a post thrash applied to classic death metal feelings, that kind of thing. And I get it, and I liked some of the songs on their original demo. I think there's something pretty cool about their legacy as just kind of an unknown thing that's interesting to find. And I would definitely recommend pulling back into their Reasons Unknown demo tape and giving that like a really intense listen, because it really does highlight like where groove metal and death metal and thrash were kind of fighting for an identity around the mid 90s, and how that really was a thing. And so I give examples of that with like the last Demolition Hammer record and a Massacre record here, because I think it points to what U.S. death metal kind of was for people who were sort of squarely in that realm. And there were many different layers to that, and so this band, looking back on them, they kind of fit there. So where they are now is a little bit different in some ways, but it does feel like this record has some nostalgia for that, what that demo was doing, and why it was so good. So let's pull into a song here, and then we can sort of delineate what that means. So when I say that this traditional death metal band has brought a little bit more death metal into their sound, what I mean is that they've added some complexity to what they do. I wouldn't say that their debut record was bad. It was just kind of dull for my taste in terms of the riff count and the actual density of ideas. So I feel like they've upped the density here to sort of a Envenomed era Malevolent Creation kind of sound, while there's still definitely that grooving feeling to it, which doesn't always work for me, but there's such a strong frequency of ideas here that it does work as a full listen, and there's a lot of energy in this EP that it helps that it kind of blows by in about 17 minutes. It's a pretty strong showing, and a kind of an interesting reintroduction to the band. At the very least, I think old school death metal fans should check out their 1994 debut, or their demo, and then kind of see if this record is what they're interested in as well. I think that throwback death thrash metal fans will appreciate the history of this band and their sound right now to some respect. So it's a pretty interesting EP. I don't know that it would have to get more dense with ideas and more intense to really fit like what I want from a like an old school or a traditional death metal release. But I like that there's a little bit of thrash in there. I like that there's something very classic feeling about it, no matter like what era we're talking about. So definitely worth checking out. You can read a little bit more detailed thoughts and ideas in the written review, and you can go check out the album on Friday.
Is this what you want? Will it save the pain?